it's the Print Factory midnight edition here. We're late night for the people, but we had to bring this show live to you. Of course, joined by the usual crew. We got Big T, Uncle Dunkle, and ODB in the house with you. I'm JSU. I'll be hosting as usual today. Make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, what are you friggin' doing? Free content all the time, every day on Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that red box at the bottom right-hand corner. Get you subscribed to the channel. And with that, we have to get right to the winners here. And I got to go to the main man, the guy who's been giving winners 2 weeks in a row. The dude's been on fire, and he's just, I think he's missed one bet each of the last 2 weeks. And his predictions have been on point to this point. And it looks like he might get his predictions all the way to the Super Bowl if he comes through clean this week. Mr. Tony Niehaus, or I'm sorry, Anthony Wayne Niehaus. What's up, buddy? In the hotel room.
I mean, it feels very good to come on and look at all three of you after I argued with all three of you. I mean, I've been looking forward to it all week. I mean, Tom Brady, where'd Tom Brady go, boys? Where'd Aaron Rodgers go, boys? I can't wait to hear the analysis from you three.
All right. I can't wait to talk about it. You obviously got to bring in ODB next. ODB, what's going on, man? How was the weekend? How'd the winners go? What's going on?
Well, I just need to say that I came here because Big T deserves to take victory laps all around the studio this week. And that is my guy. And I couldn't be happy for him. I lost. But that's okay. I mean, I've had a very successful playoffs and regular season, and I missed last week. A couple of games came down to essentially coin flips, and I was on the wrong side of them. But that doesn't take away from the fact that Big T gave out all four underdog winners straight up, and he was 13 seconds away from hitting all four of them. And he had three of them, and they paid a hefty return. Luckily, I took y'all's advice. I was kind of on the fence of that San Francisco game, and you know, you guys were all pretty passionately for San Francisco, except for you. You liked Green Bay and San Francisco both to win the game.
I was wondering how long it was going to take to bring it up.
Yes, ODB. I like San Francisco to cover, but I predicted because ODB forgets because ODB was drinking a little too much wine in Cabo. He kept letting us know. This was the problem with ODB. He forgets that this is a picks and prediction show where everything that I say, I tell people, this is my prediction for the game. And I asked him 5 times, ODB, what's your prediction? And he goes, well, obviously the Packers. Everyone's on the Packers. So I caught him in a lie, and then he still kept going. I don't know what to do anymore.
Anyway.
Uncle, help me out here. I don't know what to do anymore. Maybe this shouldn't be a prediction show. Let's scrap the predictions. Let's stick to picks. All right, let's do that. No more predictions. I don't want to hear your predictions, Dunkel.
Yeah, I think that above all else, JSU had a tremendous weekend. He was fortunate enough to land one of the favorites that he bet on the money line, and he landed 3 of the underdogs that he bet plus the points. Just a tremendous weekend all around from our boy John.
Incorrect. Very bad weekend for your boy John. I mean, if you call hitting one of the 3 a good weekend, I don't know about you, Dunkel, but that doesn't sound very good to me.
You guys almost backdoored that fucking Brady game. I wouldn't have been able to come on the show.
Honestly, that was the worst. That was the worst side that I felt like I was on the entire time. Sure. If we backdoored that one, that was the luckiest because I can sit here and I'm fine with the Titans. Like I was fine with the Bills. Like they lost, but I felt like it was that close. Like I'm okay with losing those type of games. The Bucks, I knew right after that first quarter, I was like, fuck, I'm on the wrong side here. Like I knew it right away after watching that first quarter. And even when Brady came back, I was still like, no matter what happens, this is an L. Like I bet the wrong side. Yeah, that's how I felt. I don't know. ODB, I know you were on that side too.
So yeah, I want to just kind of speak to that. Like these are the playoffs, and the great thing about football gambling and all gambling in general really is, you know, what I really excel at is kind of finding matchups that, I don't think Vegas is really handicapped properly and, kind of exploiting that. That's why I'm kind of good in these contests. You have 16 games to choose from. You got to find your best 5 and go. When it's playoff time and you got to pick every game, I mean, sometimes there are games that are just kind of coin flippy. I mean, that Tennessee game, I feel like we were on the right side, even though we lost straight up. 9 sacks to 1. They, just Tannehill had a couple of like ill-timed throws, but you have to handicap for that. I mean, part of football is having a quarterback that's not going to make mistakes. I thought the Rams might look better than the Bucs, but that Stafford would make a couple mistakes, and he didn't. And what really made mistakes were the Bucs defense. So I'm going to just take the L on the Bucs. I talked all week about the Bucs. That was my favorite play, and I was just flat out wrong. And Tony was right. But like you say, the Titans and the Bills. I mean, you run that back. I wouldn't flip sides on either one of those games. I'd run it back the sides I had. If we ran back that Bucs Rams game this weekend, I'd probably have to. You'd be stupid if you didn't just take the Rams. I mean, it took all the flukes just to have a shot. But still, when they had a shot, I mean, what is Bowles doing with 40 seconds left to let Cooper Kupp run down the seam? Like, insanely bad on both the Bills and the Rams' part. You mean you're just letting the best players just run totally clean in the seam? I don't understand. Like, why are these defensive coordinators not just holding players? I mean, there's 13 seconds left. You just tackle Kelsey and Hill and Pringle and Hardman. Just tackle them. You give them 5 yards. There's 6 seconds left. They're at the 30. Like, then you do it again. They're at the 35, and they have one Hail Mary, and the game's over. Like, what do they do? Have you seen that Kelsey play? Like, he just literally just runs 25 yards straight. Nobody on him. Boom. I just don't understand how
he does his signature. He does his signature like left step foot, like he's going to turn outside, and then just his head movement, and then just turns.
It was so freaking annoying to me too. It was so annoying to me that they were like sucking him off that he did some like magic play. I'm like, he didn't do no magic play. He literally ran down the seam and caught the ball. Like, what are you guys sucking him off for? Yeah, he made a great play, but it was the defense.
He literally ran straight, took a step to his left with his left foot, turned his head to the left, and then turned back into the ball because he knew the ball was coming to him, and the ball was right there. Like,
he made a play. I'm not saying he didn't, but don't like suck him off like he did some like crazy magic show play. I mean, come on.
What was good was the offense in 13 seconds got all the way down the field. As an offense, it was impressive that they did that. But as the Bills, what are you doing? I just don't understand what the thought process was. I guess Tyreek Hill catching that ball and just running by every single person on the defense the drive before, maybe that was in their heads a little bit, Tony. Guys, like, that was one of the most ridiculous plays I've ever seen, where he's given the deuces sign. He's not even like fully past the guy too, and he's giving him the deuces sign as he's running by him. It was just unreal. That game was insane. I mean, Dunkel, I forget too. What were you on? Were you on the Bucs side or the Rams side? I forget.
Bucs side there. The Chiefs. I was on the Chiefs end, so that was nice to land. And then I had the Tyreek Hill anytime touchdown, so it was nice to kind of run pure on a game for a change this stuff playoffs. I mean, overall, negative weekend for me. I said this before the show. Normally, wildcard weekend is my best weekend in the NFL. It wasn't that way this year. Divisional weekend wasn't the same. But these games, I mean, I'm interested in breaking these down with you guys. But some more targetable spots. It's more about, I guess we'll go into it. But fun weekend all around. I mean, some of the best games I could remember. Man, that Sunday alone, some historical games on that Sunday. But either way, it's been a fun postseason. Not a profitable one for me personally, but look, love hearing you guys doing well, and overall, looking forward to this week.
Yeah, one thing I did want to ask the panel, just because it's been all over Twitter, it's been discussions on pretty much like every single like sports talk, the overtime, right? Like the overtime rules, the overtime, like how the game finished. Like, to me, I just felt like it was unsatisfying because I wanted it to keep going. But at the same time, like, I knew eventually that was going to happen. I knew whoever won the coin toss was probably going to win the game the way those offenses were rolling. And that's what happened. But did anyone else feel like I felt like a little robbed if you're on the Bills side. Like, how do we feel about the overtime rules and any rule like it? That has to change eventually, right? That rule. I mean, both teams should at least have a chance. In my opinion.
likely will. It likely will. The problem is there's really not a true happy medium, right? Because what if you make it both teams have to touch the ball once and then its next score wins? I mean, we know Kansas City would have won at that point anyway if they got the ball back and had to score again. So I don't know what the right answer is. You're not going to make everybody happy with every decision you make, but I'll be honest. In regards to that game, Buffalo deserved to lose. 13 seconds left. You let the team go 50 yards to line up for a field goal. So the overtime rule sucked for sure in that scenario. But to me, Buffalo letting them just walk, gallop in 13 seconds, 50 yards was a little silly.
ODB, you have a take on the overtime at all, or how you felt?
I mean, obviously it's unsatisfying, but I mean, in reality, like whatever you do, one team is going to have an advantage over the other. I mean, if both teams get a chance to touch the ball, then you just go second. So if you stop them, you score, you win. Or if they score, now the Bills are going to go down, and if they score, they'll obviously go for two. They know they're not going to give Kansas City the ball back, so now they have the advantage. I mean, to me, it would be, I'd rather see something like maybe the home team gets to decide if they want to take the ball at the 10 or give it to the other team. Like just something like that. So at least it's harder for them to score, give a little extra value for seeding, or just give home field advantage just a little bit extra anyway. I mean, home field advantage has pretty much been taken out of the NFL. So that would be like a kind of a compromise. Not start at 25, not start at the kickoff, just, Kansas City, you're home. Would you like the ball at the 10, or would you like to put your defense on the field? Give us the ball. Let go, But maybe if you're going against let's say it's the Ravens team back, in the day with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis and all that, give Kerry Collins the ball on the 10. Let's go. You can kind of just tailor it to whatever, fits you. Something like that, I think, would be an alternative that would be better than this. But no matter what you do, there's got to be somebody who's going to have an edge strategically, whether it's getting the ball first or second, or, left up to some randomness like a coin flip or something like that. But
right. Yeah, I like the home field advantage, though, idea where you kind of boost that up a little bit. You give them a little more for having home field advantage, just something that would be nice. Tony, you got anything before we dive into these games?
Yeah, I mean, just that it's annoying. I mean, last week I had the middle too, because like I talked about on the show, I had the Bills like everyone knew. I said there was some value in getting Kansas City if it was the last leg of your teasers. Ended up benefiting me, Kansas City winning like that, because I shipped both sides. But I still wanted to see it play out. I hated it a few years ago when Mahomes and Brady had that epic game, and Mahomes never touched the ball. I just hate the rule. I almost agree completely with what ODB said. Like, pick the yard line, do something. I just feel unsatisfied that we didn't get to see Josh Allen get the ball. I mean, what's wrong with just letting them just keep playing? Like, maybe they can't go for two, or I don't know what the answer is. The only thing I know for sure is I was unsatisfied with both teams not touching the ball.
I mean, maybe just force both teams to go for two. No
force
field
them both
goals.
To go for two.
No field goals, no extra points. You score, you go for two. You have to go for two.
That fixes it too, because if the first team misses it, to ODB's point, they're just going to kick the extra point, but they're not allowed to. They got to go for two. I mean, that's a good idea.
They got to go for two. Yeah.
I don't know anything to give these guys the ball, though. I hate that it's determined by – because in that game, there was no way they were stopping them. There was literally no way. Unless it was like a tip ball interception or some random play. There's no way they were stopping them. I mean, they scored like 30 points in the last 2 minutes, it felt like.
They handed the ball.
It was close.
There was one play they handed the ball off. I think it was on maybe the second first down in overtime. They handed the ball off to CEH, and he went for like 1 yard. I was like, all right, thanks. They gave a one free down there, but it doesn't matter. They got it on
the next play. They picked up like 50.
Yeah, it's just it was like every time Kansas City ran the ball with Clyde, it was like, oh, thanks. There's a free play for us, but didn't matter. Like they were those teams. That was an awesome football game. I mean, just tip my hat to them. I mean, I lost a fucking fortune on it, but whatever.
Yeah, definitely not fun if you were on the Bill side, but hey,
brutal ending on the Bills side.
Yeah.
Sure.
Again, it's not the wrong side though. Like I said, I think both sides, you got lucky. If you were on the right side, you ran a little purer, but hey, that's what happens sometimes in these games. So let's talk about these two games. Obviously, we'll start off with the AFC game, and we'll work our way through. Guys, don't forget, hit that like button. I mean, it's midnight here. ODB's stayed up for the show. Dunkel, Tony just flew in to Arizona, and he's in a hotel room right now doing the show. So I got to be up at 4:30 a.m., and I'm doing the show. Like, we're all here getting these winners in for you. Hit that thumbs up for us. Subscribe to the channel. Show us a little love here, and get in the chat. Let's see what you guys think, what you guys got for these games here. We got Bengals and the Chiefs here. 7-point is the spread here. Chiefs obviously favored at home. 54.5 is the total in this one, guys. And Dunkel, I'll come to you first with this one. Bengals, come through strong here. They've won 2 in a row here in these playoffs, beat the Titans and the Raiders. Titans to me, they looked really good too, especially on defense. I mean, they friggin' tore it up on defense. They were all over the place. They gave Joe Burrow everything he could handle here in this game. And I thought it was a credit to him that they found a way to win in the end. You got to give him some respect. But at the same time, they showed some flaws that another team maybe could pick up on. What do you think about the Chiefs here against the Bengals?
Yeah, to me, it's a dog spot. The Bengals make a ton of sense at 7. You can even get 7.5 now, -118 FanDuel. It's just, again, a matter of, I almost end up outsmarting myself with some of these things, but the team totals has been so successful for me all season. And actually it's been successful for me for the last 3 seasons. This season in particular, the playoffs, team totals have been brutal for me. So I'm kind of a little gun shy. I roll up to the window and bet Bengals over their number, which is 22.5. But 7.5 to me makes a lot of sense. But I've said all for the last few weeks, actually, Bengals defense is so bad. So more or less, to me, if the Bengals are going to keep pace, it's going to be because they score points, like a lot of them, and they very well can. Interesting to note, though, Tyreek Hill last week, I loved his prop, anytime touchdown, -105. Isn't it interesting? He scores on like a luck box 60-yard touchdown late in the game, and now they put his numbers at -155 and -140, depending your book, -130 for him to score. It's what like I say, you're always looking for value where you can find it. And speaking of value, man, it's going to be tough for me to roll up to the sports book and make this one. Tyler Boyd. So last week, every Bengals pass
just
catcher.
Stay away from Tyler Boyd. Oh, Uncle Dunkel, let me just give you a little help here. Stay away from him.
Yeah, so every pass catcher for the Bengals, including their sisters, all went over their everything last week, except for Tyler Boyd. On the field just as much as all of them. Now his number's even less. Again, you try to be a value sports better and find it where you can. 39.5 feels like it's free money. But no, I to your point, JSU, I will not bet it. But I'll be pretty tilted if first play of the game he cracks a 45-yarder down the seam. But for me,
his props 39 yards. Is that what you just said?
His props 39 yards.
Oh man, that might be my first bet I bet of the week.
So do you
39 yards? Dunkel, just bet that right now. That's a winner.
Yeah.
Over or under?
Just
over 39 yards.
And it's not like it's 39 yards because it's like, oh, well, it's obvious, somebody knows something. No, like the dude hasn't been doing anything. That's why it's that. And he's been on the field 90% of the snaps. They just haven't been looking his way. And I love the fact that I'm debating on whether I play Uzama or Tyler Boyd last game because they should get killed in the middle of the field. And Uzama I think he's still catching passes. So kind of a shame to get the wrong game there. But again, we talk value. Boy, there's value there. I likely, believe it or not, I likely will not bet it. And the Bengals, to me, have a lot of value. It's just a matter of how you want to exactly correlate it, whether you want to bet on first half, full game. Either probably live on the money line as well. Kind of hard to imagine the Chiefs going down at home in this spot, though. But needless to say, it's a Bengals spot for me. You can get 7.5 now. I assume it'll get better. Probably a lot of Chiefs money will come in overall, but Bengals spot for me. I'll figure out what I want to do with props. But ultimately, yeah, the Boyd one definitely caught my eye.
All right. ODB, what do you got here in this game? You think Joe Burrow can get some points going against this Chiefs team?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't it doesn't feel good to bet against the Chiefs. I'll just tell you that. Like, this Chiefs team is scary when they're on. But I'm with Dunkel on this. I mean, 7.5 seems like too many points. But, you know, the offensive line for the Bengals was so atrocious. The defense is not good. It's scary. The one thing that gives me a little pause is, or not a little pause, but feel a little bit better about the Bengals is that they just beat them a few weeks ago. And not because that really matters. I mean, that was a regular season game. But what it does do is when you have a young team that can either have confidence or not, at least in their heads, they're like, we just beat this team a few weeks ago and we're getting disrespected. We're getting almost a touchdown. Nobody thinks we can win. And it's like, we just beat this team. Versus if they hadn't played them before, it's kind of like maybe they go in deer in the headlights type look. It's like, oh my gosh, we're going against the big mighty Chiefs. We could never keep pace. I think they feel like, I mean, right or wrong, like they have irrational confidence. So I kind of like the Bengals. Like I said, it doesn't feel pleasant. As far as on props, look, here's the thing with these games. You gotta bet 2 games. There's 2 games. It's the only games on the docket. You gotta bet them. So you gotta have something. So if you don't feel in love with the game, it's fine to prop. I actually like Uzama. He's like 35.5 yards. I liked him last week, even though I did watch the show, and it was the one thing Tony got wrong was he thought that Uzama was not a good play. I watched his show up to game time, and he nailed like everything, but he did miss that one. And here's the thing. Like, you have to decide who you're going to cover if you're the Chiefs, and you're going to cover Chase, and you're going to cover Higgins, and you're going to cover Mixon. I mean, it doesn't matter how good Uzama's been. Like, they still can't give him any extra attention. So I like him, and I've kind of been a fan of his for years. He went to Auburn, so I followed his career. And every time he's kind of gotten off a little bit, he goes back into a hole. But I think they found something in the last few weeks with him. He really has been an integral part of this offense. And Joe's kind of taken what's given to him. So I think 35.5 kind of gets there pretty easily. I could see him, you know, busting the 60, 70 yard plateau. So that's kind of the prop that I would get. And I'm going to take the Bengals probably, unless you guys talk me out of it.
Yeah. So, I mean, the one thing you hear constantly is, especially about, you know, Cincinnati after what we just saw is, you know, they can't kick field goals against the Chiefs, blah, blah, blah. We know this. Like, obviously they need to score touchdowns, but this team is going to score touchdowns against the Chiefs. Like, it's going to happen. The Chiefs are going to score on them. Like, that's for sure too. This game is going to be back and forth. I think it's a high scoring game. Joe Burrow's going to go over a bunch of his props, in my opinion. I think he goes over his passing yards prop. He's going to get over, I mean, the 1.5 touchdown prop is it's already like minus 205. Like, he's getting more than, he's getting 2 touchdowns. Like, that's for sure. And I think, again, this is a great matchup. The Chiefs blitz a ton. Joe Burrow is really good against teams that blitz. Remember, the Titans are one of the lower blitzing teams in the league, and they confused Joe Burrow. That was the first time I ever saw Joe Burrow actually confused. And everyone wants to talk about the O-line was just really bad. They weren't bad. They were bad. But Joe Burrow was actually bad too. He was holding on to the ball, and then the play calling was atrocious because the receivers weren't even looking at Joe Burrow half the time because they were running these deep routes, putting Joe Burrow in a hole where he had to throw the ball or he had to figure out check down to Joe Mixon, which is, I think, why Joe Mixon caught a lot of balls, which is good for him. But I think it's not all O-line. It was a mix of O-line, Joe Burrow holding the ball too long, and the play calling, which screwed them up against the Titans here. I don't think they're going to have as much of an issue, though, against the Chiefs, because I think those deeper routes are going to be there more often because the Chiefs are going to come after him more. It's just their style. They can't help it. They're going to do it. They did it in the last game constantly, and Joe Burrow keep hitting them over the top and hitting them. And what did they do? They still kept doing it. They still kept blitzing, and they still let Joe Burrow have one-on-one, and they still let Joe Burrow identify it and hit him over the top. I don't think things are going to change, and I think Joe Burrow is going to have a big fantasy game for sure. He's had two kind of subpar, decent fantasy games the last two. I think this is a monster fantasy game for Joe Burrow. I think him and Pat Mahomes are going to go toe-to-toe. I think he's going to stand right with Pat Mahomes. I love the Bengals side here. I think this is I thought the Titans matchup was one of the worst matchups they could have seen in the AFC. Personally, I think this is one of the better matchups for them. And it's probably the toughest because they have to keep up with Mahomes, but I think they can. I think they have the weapons to do it. I love the Bengals here. I'm on the Bengals side. Of course, Tony leaves as I'm finishing up my spiel. Dunkel, I saw you put a tweet out about actually the Bengals and some of their play calling. And so you're kind of on board with some of what I'm saying, right? With regards to the play calling and some of the deeper routes that they were kind of having their receivers. Because it felt to me like Joe Burrow was holding the ball and getting sacked some of those times because the receivers weren't looking at him and he didn't know where to go with the football. And then he just kind of got caught, right? It was like, to me, some of the sacks were offensive line just completely bust. Like there was one where one of the linemen got through without being touched and just nailed Joe Burrow. And I'm like, okay, that's an offensive line mistake for sure. Miscommunication there. But there were some where Joe Burrow had time and he just kept drifting back and then got sacked like 15 yards back and kicked him out of field goal range. And I'm like, that's not the offensive line. That was Joe Burrow. He held on to the ball too long. Come on.
Yeah, so and that game wasn't an anomaly. Joe Burrow leads the league in sacks taken. He's been holding on to the ball too long all season. Now, granted, some of these plays are long developing plays, and they don't have an offensive line, for the plays that they're drawing up. So yeah, he's going to take unnecessary sacks, and it's not like he's super mobile. So yeah, took a few unnecessary ones, but there was also the plays where it seemed like play calling didn't do him any favors as well. So yeah, regardless though, to your point on the player prop, he's going to take sacks, which means you're going to get a lot of third and longs where the defense will just concede the free 15 yards. Those add up over the course of a game, and when we talk about his passing yard prop, it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind that look at all.
I mean, he threw for over 300 yards in that last game, and I was like, holy crap, I didn't even realize he got that far. Like, it didn't feel that way to me.
Well, I want to say I definitely agree with what you said. I mean, there were plenty of times where it felt like he had time to get rid of it, and then next thing you know, he's taking a sack at midfield when they're in field goal position. Like those are things that a veteran shouldn't do, and he's a young player, so he'll get better at that. But let me ask you this, because I started looking at lineups for the week, and I started just plugging in Chase because he's great and he torched him last time and all this. Last week though, the Chiefs did a number on Stephon Diggs, and Gabriel Davis got off as a secondary option. Did they do something special to limit Diggs, or was and do they have that capability to do that against Chase, or was that just kind of? Is there a reason why Diggs didn't go off and why Chase is, or should I be looking more at Higgins over Chase? Or, I mean, obviously you can play both, but what's your thought on Chase versus Diggs and what they did versus Diggs, and will they do similar?
I don't know if they played Diggs. Like, I don't know if it was a factor of that or it was a factor of more Josh Allen kind of using his legs a little bit, getting it to other guys. I mean, he will spread it out at times too. It was surprising that he didn't look to Diggs as much. The Jamar Chase thing though, like the reason Jamar Chase burned the Chiefs last time was because they kept blitzing and it kept leaving one-on-one with Jamar Chase on the right side and left side constantly. And if you watch it, I think like 80% of his yards are on go routes. Literally 80% of his yards were on like go routes where Joe Burrow just identified that there was blitzing. He identified where it was coming from, and he signaled to Chase, and it was just 3 steps, and you just saw him loft it over the cornerback's head and right into Chase's lap. He did it 4 times, I think.
Well, Spagnuolo is a good defensive coordinator. I mean, I'm sure obviously he watched the Bengals game over and over again, probably had nightmares on, what Chase did to him. Yeah. So what is his game plan to limit that this time? Because you've got to assume that he's not just going to let Chase run down the field and catch go routes. And he's going to give him help. He's got to give him help, right?
The blueprint is Tennessee. What Tennessee did, the problem is, I don't know if they have the interior linemen that, like, Jeffrey Simmons was dominating the Bengals O-line from the interior, and it got to Joe Burrow because the pressure was coming up the middle constantly, and that's why Joe Burrow was drifting backwards. He was moving backwards. That pressure was coming at him, and he was just going back. He couldn't get anywhere else, and then he was getting sacked eventually. I don't know if the Chiefs have maybe they can, but I don't know if they have it as good as the Titans did. But the Titans also disguised a lot of their coverage. They were constantly coming up to the line, looking like they were going to blitz everybody and then dropping back. And then sometimes they were blitzing everyone. They did a good job of mixing things up. Spagnuolo, I would assume, because he's smart, is going to watch that tape and try and implement some of the things that they did, because some of the things they did confused Joe Burrow. No doubt in my mind, he was confused for some of that game. And so, yeah, you're probably right. I would assume that he tries to bottle up Chase. He's just aggressive, though. Like, you know what I mean? He has those aggressive tendencies. I don't know if he's just going to scrap what he normally does completely. But again, you're probably right where he's going to say, let's try and limit the guy who just torched us for like 3 touchdowns last time. Like, I agree with you there. And let's bring Big T in finally. Big T, did you get your food? Are you all good?
I almost missed the call. I didn't realize they send a message in the app. I almost missed my damn food. I'd have been pissed.
What do you mean? It doesn't come to the room?
I guess they wouldn't let him in or something. He was stuck at the door. I almost lost my feast, though. That would have been – I'd have paid $100 for no food. That would have made it even worse. But, yeah, before I left, ODB was talking about some of the options at tight end, like Ozuma. I always say his name wrong. Uzama? How you say it? Uzama? I think I say it wrong every time.
Uzama.
Whatever I want. Uzama or Uzoma. I know everyone always makes fun of me how I say it, but yeah, I mean, last week I knew I was screwed when he caught that 40-yard just extra play before the half that just tilted. I don't even know what he finished with, but he was better than my pivot. Whoever I pivoted to wasn't as good. If
he didn't catch that 30-yard pass at the end, he would have finished for 6 for I think it was 6 for 40, Tony. So he still had 10 points.
He's just getting peppered.
My point wasn't. Yeah, my point wasn't to dunk on you on that. It's just that.
No, you were right though.
He's become a part of the offense.
And my point wasn't going to be that I was unlucky. I was going to be the targets. He's got 8, 6, 6, 7, and I just knew real early that I was in trouble with not playing him because I was so high on Cincinnati. So that was a mistake. I'm not going to do that this week. I'm going to play all of these receivers. Yeah, all 4 of them. Well, 3 in the tight end. And, I mean, I kind of made a mistake not playing Mixon, too, because he's getting pass game work. I don't like Mixon in the run game, but he's getting a ton of targets in the pass game. So I won't be fading these guys. I'm jamming this game for sure and going way under on the other game. We aren't going to talk about DFS in this as much, but this game will – and again, it's not a hot take. Everyone likes this game, but – I think Cincinnati's going to win this game. I'll keep my streak on the line here. I think they match up perfect with them, and I think they're going to score points. I think Kansas City will score too. I'm not saying they're not. I think it'll be a close game, kind of like the Buffalo game, and to get 7.5 points is egregious. I think Cincinnati can easily win, and ODB's point, or whoever was saying it when I left, just the fact that they beat them, they're already confident anyways, and they beat them. They just have so much freaking swag that they might not win, but they believe they're going to win for sure. Without a doubt, they believe they're going to win. And I think they're going to too. I think they match up perfect. Yeah, you guys can talk about them taking away Chase. They tried to take away Gabe Davis, and he was making dudes fall. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't trust Kansas City secondary very much. Yeah, they might get pressure on Burrow for sure. I mean, the line is terrible. But I think they'll score points. I think it's going to be a fun game, though. I mean, I don't see how the over doesn't.
I have a question, though. So the line all of a sudden is getting killed here, where they got dominated by Tennessee, but Tennessee's good. That's a good football team right there. Before that, nobody was talking about their line.
Sucks ass. That's one thing.
But their 7 is good up front. That team has a good defense, but okay. Ryan Tannehill sucks ass. I agree with you. Ryan Tannehill sucks ass. So,
and I mean, all of Tennessee sucks ass.
I also think there's a tremendous amount of value on Chris Jones to record a sack plus 100.
He's plus 100 to have 1 sack.
Yeah, because
I'm in a legal state now. I'm going to end up betting like $4 million freaking dollars on all these props. 1 sack, that's it.
Yeah, so it's a typical math line, right, for a good defensive lineman in a spot like this. You're not going to.
Where's that line at?
You're very rarely going to have to. And then this might get steamed before the game starts. But to me, it's at.
I'm going to bet it right now. Where's it at?
It's at FanDuel. So you just look at every team Cincinnati's played, like the best pass rusher, like always sacks Burrow. Like it doesn't. It's like just go down every game. Even the Raiders only got 2 sacks in the game, but of course they're big white dude. I forgot his name, Crosby, I think.
Max Crosby.
Crosby.
He had a sack and a half or a sack last game. I mean, name your player. They all got sacks. And I just think even if Chris Jones only plays 50% of the snaps, which is typical for him, there's just no reason he's not going to, especially with how long Burrow holds onto the ball and how quickly he gets in there. And he's quick. He's more of like an outside rusher versus like a D tackle rusher. So really like the spot.
Yeah, but they'll run him. They'll run stunts, and he'll go inside and outside too. And like you said, he plays fit. Even if he played 50% Dunkel, they're playing him on passing downs a lot. They're trying to get him where he can just pin back and just go at the quarterback. So you're in that spot.
I think you could also look. I mean, depending how wild you're trying to get with props. Look, Evan McPherson. The dude's hit 2 field goals in like 7 straight games. His prop is 1.5 field goals made, minus 110.
I mean, you got all these easy winners starting my trip out here, right, Dunkel? 1.5 field goals?
No wind, and he hasn't missed a field goal in like forever. And Cincinnati's going to attempt him because these days he's as practical as an automatic 3 that exists in the NFL. Now the only thing where this could get weird would be if the Chiefs get off to a huge lead, and they just stop kicking field goals. But outside of that, 1.5 field goals. I get the math line from it. You're an underdog. You're a 7-point dog. You're on the road. You're in an outdoor field. But at the end of the day, there's going to be no wind. It's going to be relatively warm in Kansas City, to be honest, 45 degrees. And they're going to attempt early on in the game anyway for him. And he's not a volatile kicker. He's been as they call him Money Mac, right?
I mean, you know Burrow's going to get sacked on 3rd and 3 and have to kick a field goal. So I mean, that's a good.
Where's that prop at?
That one's at DK, Tony.
DK.
Yeah, the only thing would be
you can bet. Yeah, I think I saw over 6.5 points too, so you can get there 2 ways.
Oh, I like that even better.
You can get there with 2. I think you can get there with 2 field goals, or if you happen to get a field goal and 4 touchdowns, you can get there a secondary way. So I like props.
6.5 points, like that is a good damn bet.
Yeah, I saw that on Pinnacle. I haven't looked at actual real books yet, but it was on Pinnacle at 6.5, I think.
It's 6.5 DK. It's 140. I'm seeing if FanDuel's got a better number. Yeah, FanDuel's got 148. It's not ideal vig. But
it's ideal when it wins. You don't have to pay the damn vig. 140. I'll take 140. DK, you said?
DK's 140.
I'm gonna put it in right now.
Jamar Chase over longest reception is over 28.5. I will take the over on that one as well, because that's easy money for me right there as well. Jamar Chase is getting a 30+ yard reception.
Where's the kicker props at? I can't find them.
On DK.
Yeah, on DK.
Defense /ST props.
All the way at the end, Tony. If you're on the app, it's all the way at the end.
Oh yeah, 140. That's tasty.
Is it tasty as that tater tot?
I don't think so, actually.
What are you 6? Did you get a grilled cheese with your tater tots?
No, I got everything on the menu though, I think.
Chicken tenders, tater tots, mozzarella sticks, the whole works.
I do got mozzarella sticks. I should get those.
Yeah, look at those. That's the winners right there. Mozzarella sticks. You got them all.
I gotta say, I mean, I love doing this show. One, because we get mostly because we get to talk out the games. And, sometimes I have strong opinions and, it helps me confirm or deny them. Sometimes I don't really have one. And I'm leaning one way, and you guys just get me to solidify where I am. And I came into this thinking I liked Cincy, but not as confident as you guys were. But all three of you guys on Cincy makes me even more confident.
Let's go. Let's get some unison this week. Let's get it going this week.
Yeah, I'm in on the Bengals with you guys. So let's roll up.
Welcome to the jungle, boys.
Welcome to the jungle. Money Mac's gonna take us home in the end. We're gonna be on the right side of the Kansas City game with the Bengals, and Money Mac's gonna take us home.
In all seriousness, like having a kicker with that much swag is just massive in the playoffs. Like those kicks he made, like those are pressure kicks for a team like Cincinnati.
Not only that,
banged them in.
Not only that, what was the thing the quote where it was like he walked over when he was grabbing his helmet and looked over at like the guys?
Was fast. Burrow even had like the reaction how he kind of like put his belly out and was like, "Guess we're going to the AFC title game."
Yeah, he called it. He literally told them before he hit the kick, like, we're going to the title game. Like, that's bad. When I see kickers, they're like by themselves. You know what I mean? They're like doing their last kick. They're by themselves. They're in their routine. This dude's just grabbing his helmet like, I guess we're going to the title game because I'm up. Like, I'm about to win it for us. Like,
you want to win your team over, too. You do shit like that, and then you bang that field goal in, and everyone's going to love you.
Oh. Joe Burrow's his best friend right now. Come on. Like, you got to be kidding me. Like, they got to be best friends right now. So, all right. Anything else on this game, guys? Anything else we wanted to talk about? We got a lot of Bengals left here.
I'm ready for some more props. I mean, you guys gave me like 4 winners there.
Yeah, there were a lot of – okay, wait. For the show, what were do we have a list? So, the Jones sack was just over half a sack, so 1 sack. Evan Peterson.
I got 1, though. Was it a half?
Was it half, Dunkel, or 1?
It's 1, I think.
He said 1.
Did he say 1? I thought he said he just has to get 1.
I'm pretty confident it was a half. Hold on, let me see.
I bet 1 on the one side. I hope I didn't bet it wrong.
No, you said
I think you did bet it. I think you did bet it wrong. And by the way, people are steaming because
what?
Now it's minus 112. Chris Jones to record a sack.
It moved after we bet it.
It was plus 100 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, but it's Chris Jones to just record 1 sack, right, Dunkel?
To record a sack, correct.
A sack, yeah.
That's
so
what
he just needs 1.
Too. Mine said sack. I just interpreted it wrong.
So we got that one. We got the kicker, 1.5 field goals for the Cincinnati
over
kicker.
6.5 points we decided.
Oh, I'm sorry.
6.5.
Over 6.5.
And as a member mentioned in the chat, BetMGM has it at 135 if you're going to save an extra 5 cents.
I'm going over Azuma yard, so you can.
Yeah, I'm going that with you too, and Boyd. I'm betting both of those.
And I'm betting Jamar Chase longest reception prop at over 28.5. I think it's minus 115. Yeah. So
those are winners.
Getting over.
We don't have any under, so I'm going to give one under 37.5 yards rushing yards by CEH. That guy stinks.
Oh, God, that's a lot.
He sucks.
Oh, you guys are getting me excited. It's all winners tonight.
37.5.
Where's that one?
I just see Pinnacle. I mean, I'm sure you got it on your site, but yeah,
there it is. I see it. 37.5.
He's not even getting 10 carries. I mean, McKinnon's the lead back on this team right now, so I'll go ahead and take
37.5. That's like stealing.
37.5 is stealing for CEH. I mean, he is just so bad.
Write down all those props, Jesse. We got to keep these on the list because we're going to ship them all.
All right. I will not let you forget them. I'm going to write them down.
I've had more drinks than ODB had last week in Cabo, so I'm going to forget.
If anyone
my
forgets.
My wine glass is empty this week. I need to go fill it up.
You got time, ODB. I'm going to write these props down.
I'm going to go fill it up while you guys.
All right, so I'm going to write these props down. So Chris Jones to record a sack. That way we have them.
And then you guys can join me on the victory laps next week.
Yeah, I can't. Listen, I'm good. If I can join anyone on a victory lap, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it now. Come on, give me a victory lap one time here. So Tony, you were God, you weren't here when we had the conversation about Chase. So ODB asked
I
about
talked about it. I said I'm not freaking worried. I said I'm not worried at all about it.
Okay.
Freaking Gabe Davis was making dudes fall.
Well, what were they doing to Stephon Diggs? Why did he never get the rock?
He's been weird all year though. Like he just hasn't. I don't know. It was a weird year, wasn't it? Like it just felt like he never quite got it going. I don't know why.
DK fucked me on that one because I went into the week wanting to get Gabe Davis everywhere. He was like one of my favorite plays. And then I just started looking, I'm like, Diggs is priced so low. How can I not? And everybody just fit in. And I didn't have quite enough to get Pringle up to him, but I didn't have enough. I had too much to go Diggs down to him. And I ended up not getting Dave Davis as much as I wanted and too much Diggs. And I knew that Gabe Davis was the right play too. I mean, they screwed me by having too low
all year, really. I mean, he's loved Gabe Davis.
They had him priced too bad, and I should have just gone with it. Sometimes, and that's one thing I admire about you, Tony. When you make your play, you're like, you know what? I don't care if I use all the salary. In fact, I don't even want to use it, and I'm just going to go with my conviction. You know, if I think Gabe Davis is better than Stephon Diggs, and I have an extra 2,000, I'm still playing Gabe Davis. Like. I like that about you. You know, you just go at me. I look at it and I'm like, well, I can get one or the other. I might as well get the number one and not the number two. But
exactly.
All right. So I think I got all these props in recorded. So we're good. We can keep rolling here. If you guys are good to move on. Oh, Tony, what do you think about you weren't here for this. I know you weren't because you didn't talk about it. What do you think about Joe Burrow's props? I mean, I like him over his passing yards prop. I like him. He's definitely scoring 2 touchdowns this week. Like,
what's his props?
I mean, it's 1.5 touchdowns.
That much. 286 feels somewhat fair to me.
It's fair. I think he still goes over it though.
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna like all the overs in this game, but I mean, I'm gonna go broke just betting. I'm gonna bet every prop if I bet them all.
All right.
I gotta pick and choose a little. I do like the touchdowns, though. What's the touchdown? Yeah, well, it's minus 200, though. We can't.
Yeah, you can't bet that. You can't bet that.
I do like it. I mean, he's going to throw 2 touchdowns, but we can't lay the 200. Dunkel would leave the show if we bet a minus 200.
Yeah.
You know, if a minus 200 should be minus 250, it's an auto fire.
Dunkel, you got an anytime touchdown for us before we leave the show? You got the Tyreek Hill one last game. You got one this week for the Chiefs or the Bengals?
Not in this game, but in the next game. Yeah.
Okay, in the next game. Well, let's move on to the next game, and we'll get Dunkel's player prop winner there. All right, 49ers and Rams here. 3.5 is the spread here. Rams favored at home. 45.5 is the total. And this is the second game of the night from a DFS perspective. It's obviously going to be the less popular game for sure. Less points definitely expected in this one. You got Jimmy G, Matthew Stafford. We've seen this game play out twice already this year where the 49ers just kind of really imposed their will, dominated this Rams team. And I don't know. I was on the Wednesday show with Holden and Mangone, and the chat was talking up about how, you know, you can't back the 49ers. They've won twice already this year. They're not going to beat the Rams and go 3-0 this year. And I'm just sitting there going, I mean, they just dominated them. How can I not? And they're not even favored. Like, they're the dogs here. I mean, Tony, I'm going to come to you first because I don't know. I just think the 49ers are the right side of this game. I think they're going to win outright. I think they're the easier play of the week, in my opinion, of the 2 dogs for sure. Like, not even a question to me.
Yeah, we got the same matchup we've had the last 2 weeks where all the talent's on one side and the Niners are just the better team. And I don't really even think it's close. They're just going to smother them. They're going to run it right at them like they do every time they play this matchup. Clock's going to run. They're going to limit what the offense from the Rams can do. And they're going to win the football game like they do every time against the Rams. 6 straight W's. People can say whatever they want, but Shanahan is in McVay's head. They coach together. They're buddies. I just think he knows some weaknesses that nobody else might know about McVay. I just think he knows how to play them, and they know the week. They're just going to run it at them. And the same thing as last week. They can't get behind. If they get behind, they're screwed because Jimmy G's awful. But if they don't get behind, they're going to win the game. Just get them to the fourth quarter with a chance, and they'll win. And I think they do. And I love it. I mean, I can't believe they're a dog. Everyone's going to love the Rams. I was super high on them last week. And I will say, too, if the Rams make the Super Bowl, I'm going to love them again. The only team in football I don't like against the Rams is the Niners. Like, I just think the Niners have their number. Every other team, I'm trying to think of another team I wouldn't. I mean, like, say the Bengals do win, my team, and the Rams win, I will bet my biggest bet of the season on the Rams in the Super Bowl. I can promise you that if they beat Frisco and they play the Bengals, it'll be my biggest bet of the season on the Rams because they'll kill the Bengals. But I don't know if they can beat the Niners to get there. I'm going Niners, and I feel very confident about it.
I mean, you talk about Jimmy G. He was bad last game, and they still found a way to win. I mean, what are we talking about? And on top of it, the reason why a lot of people like San Fran against the Packers last week was because of how good they are running the football and how efficient they are. And the Packers came in and kind of stonewalled them on the run game, I thought, and did a really good job of limiting them. They limited their running backs, Debo, to 3.9 yards average per carry, 39 yards on 10 attempts, and Elijah Mitchell on 17 attempts, 53 yards, 3.1 yards per carry. That's a really good job of limiting a team that has just dominated you in the past recently and has dominated a lot of other good teams. So that to me was interesting. They found a way to win a game with Jimmy G playing bad, their run game not being as effective, and they still won. It was shocking to me.
Dunkel and ODB, by far my favorite part of the whole weekend was after my Niners won. JSU texted me just so tilted, like, oh, Big
he knew
T,
I was tilted too.
Lucky. Oh.
He knew I was tilted too, and he fucking jammed into me. This fucker texted me back, and he goes, "Come back better next week," and then that was it. Like he just fucking said that to me, and then that was it. I was like, "You're a fucking asshole." Classic Big T. All right. Reliving the horror of last week with the Packers.
It was funny how tilted you were, though.
Well, because I think if you were a Packers backer, when you watch that game, I think the first thing you're like, because you're not thinking objectively, you're just like so pissed that they lost, and you're like, fucking special teams, blah blah blah. But in the end, Rodgers still fucked up and should have gotten a first down, and they would have won the game. But he couldn't get 2 first downs like that.
And he shouldn't have tried to throw it to Devontae every time he dropped back. Like it's all the only guy
he missed Devontae. He makes that throw in between that coverage. I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 times he makes that throw. They have that throw down pat, and he couldn't make it. I mean, it's the facts. He had a chance, and he didn't get it done. So you got to give the blame to Aaron Rodgers. He needs to get it done in that spot. ODB, let's go to you next here. You can talk this game up here, 49ers Rams.
Well, I have gone back and forth on this game all week, and I'm just going to kind of talk you through here and see what comes out because I'm really not sure. And one of the reasons I was so excited about this show was, I mean, I know Tony's big on the Niners. I knew he was going to be taking the Niners, so I wanted to kind of hear why, but also want to hear you guys' opinion. But let's just talk first of all about the Niners. In that game against the Packers, let's not pretend that the Niners went out and won that game. I mean, the conditions had something to do with that game. I mean, they won on a block punt for a touchdown. They blocked a field goal. They didn't move the ball at all. They weren't efficient. They weren't effective. Rodgers played a very subpar game. I mean, he's got Lazard in the middle of the field wide open to win the game. He can't make that throw. So I'm not really sure, like, how much of that. I had the Niners. I mean, I didn't feel great about it, but I had them on the money line just to get on there with you guys. I really wasn't that impressed. I didn't think the Niners brought that much. So now I'm looking at this Rams game, and yeah, they've won the last 6 games. They won both games this year, but let's take a look at that game 2 weeks ago. I mean, the Rams dominated that first half. they gave up a play at the end of the first half where the Niners got a field goal. They still go in 17-3, and then they come out and they just turtle. They just completely turtle up, and they did the same thing against Tampa. And McVay is a smart guy. I think maybe they continue to go for it. You're not going to have any weather factors in SoFi, so you're not going to get that. You're not going to get that subpar performance that you got out of the Packers. I do worry about Stafford because to me, he's still a guy who just, when he gets a little too much swagger, makes some big mistakes. So I'm a little concerned about him, but I don't know, man. I look at this Rams team now and I'm starting to fall for, like, maybe they did get it together at the right time. I mean, I wanted this team to be good for a long time, and every time I bet them, they disappointed me. So now I'm looking at it, it's like maybe it wasn't just the Cardinals. Maybe it wasn't just, that Brady wasn't as good as, maybe Cam Akers gives them a little something extra. Maybe Stafford's a little more comfortable. Maybe McVay doesn't turtle up. The Niners, they don't really give you a bunch of looks. And I mean, they should know what the Niners game plan is going to be. So, if they get beat by them, they just get out physical. And that's obviously the thing that Tony thinks is going to happen. And that's the biggest concern I have, is that they're just more physical than the Rams. But the defensive line is playing much better now than it did before. I like the fact that, even without Whitworth last week, they held the Bucs defensive line in check. I don't know. I mean, I want to think that the Rams, but the other side that I've seen this game play out several times and that the Niners have won it is very scary. But you just look at a talent perspective and who's what, and it's hard for me to not think the Rams have them personnel wise. But obviously that's the thing. You just got to select your narrative. Is the better team going to win, or is it the better, matchup wins here? And I'm not really sure. I want to like the Rams. I mean, I like the Rams, but I kind of don't really want to like them, and kind of want you guys to talk me into one side or the other.
The answer is just to take the Rams on the money line and the Niners on the spread, ODB.
Well, that's what I'm doing for my official pick. I'm also taking
Victory
straight up and the Bengals on the money line.
I shouldn't have brought it up. I don't want to have
no comment. I will not comment on this. Dunkel.
I should not have brought it up. I take it back.
Dunkel, I'm going to come to you here with this because we've got some indecision here. ODB, it feels like he's kind of going back and forth on Rams 49ers. Where do you land? Can you sway him to the 49ers? Because I know you were big to start the playoffs on the 49ers. No, you're not swaying anyone when you're on mute, Dunkel. Come on, buddy.
It's I got to keep the streak alive, right? I got to stay on brand. So I have a few locks that I like. Rams money line -176, and San Francisco 49ers +3.5. In all seriousness, some of my favorite looks in this game. Stafford to throw an interception is now -110 after he's had a few good weeks. I know last week it didn't work out for us, ODB. I liked that.
Uncle, you better put all these props on the sheet because all these are good fucking plays.
I think Dunkel left.
They're
not Dunkel.
I'm here. I just got some water.
JSU did his typical thing. Dunkel, really interested in your opinion. Go for it.
Sorry, Dunkel. I had to stay on brand. I had to stay on brand here.
Rolling.
So, Stafford to throw an interception, -110. It's the lowest he's been.
Where's that at? I'm going to put that one in too. I'm just going to put all your winners in tonight.
Stafford.
So the lowest he's been to throw an interception in about 6 weeks. And again,
he's throwing a pick for sure. Sure.
And I'd argue there was like 2 or 3 plays.
Where's that one at? I want to bet that right now. Where's the best price?
110. I saw DK was the best price. 112 FanDuel.
Tony, don't worry. I'm writing down every player prop Dunkel says. So then
they're going to all be in my pending folder too.
And then I don't love this as an anytime touchdown, but at the price, it's my favorite anytime touchdown of the weekend. So Debo is -105 to score. This is a guy that during the regular season scored in, I believe, 7 straight games. All his touches are always high leverage. he can score from anywhere on the field. They give him the ball inside the 5. They give him, targets from the 10. And let's be honest, when this team's at the 1 or 2 yard line, it's not often Mitchell. It's usually Samuel. So the problem is it's a low total. Rams are super good against the run, but he has alternate ways. He's also game script independent. Minus 105 is just a very cheap number for him in this spot. And look, I do really like the 49ers here. It's hard not to. This is a team that has gone up 2 touchdowns against this team and never looked back. This is also a team who went down 2 touchdowns and came back to win. There's no game script right now unless the Rams go up like 3 touchdowns that the 49ers are not comfortable with or comfortable against. I also love the fact of how good the Rams looked this last week. And the 49ers had to play in the brutal cold, which was even impacting Aaron Rodgers, which should say to you how bad that weather was for them playing in it. And now you get them in the warm weather. Jimmy G will look better in warm weather. Yes, he'll likely have his blackout play where he throws a pick or fumbles.
I'm gonna add a prop, and it's gonna shock people. I'm gonna under a half pick for Jimmy G's plus 110. He's not gonna throw a pick this week because they're not gonna throw the ball. That's my first prop I'm adding. He's not throwing it.
I'll say in his 2 games against the Rams this year, he's been pretty efficient. He threw for over 300 yards. The last game they played, which was the overtime game, did throw 2 picks in that game. Then the other game, 15 for 19. They blew him out 31-10. He had 2 touchdowns, no picks in that game. So
yeah, it's going to be this week. It's going to be a game like that.
He's going to be. He's been efficient against this. He's been decent.
Plus
I will say.
Plus 110 to throw a pick. I'm taking under a pick for him.
I'll tell you this, Tony. I would sit on that. The reason I would sit on that is because
I'm going to freaking forget if I sit on it.
I'm just saying it is hard to imagine that number doesn't get better for you. I mean, Garoppolo's throwing a pick in like 8 straight games.
Yeah, but I'm going to forget. Then I'm not going to have any number on it because I'm going to forget about it. There's too many to remember.
Uncle, you got to send him a reminder text right before the game. You got to be a real friend. That's a real friend right there.
I'll put a calendar reminder in my phone to remind.
I would say real friends don't let other friends bet 0 interceptions for Jimmy Garoppolo. That's what a real friend would
do. It's a good point. That's a good point.
Take the phone away from Big T. He might not throw a pick, but there are better spots for your money than that.
This is true, actually, Tony. That can't be like the best bet. You were just talking about how you like some of Joe Burrow's props, but you're not going to bet all of them.
Jimmy G's going to throw like 9 times this week. I'm taking my chances that one of the 9 isn't a pick.
What if they get down 14-0? I mean,
they're not going to. They're going to dominate them.
I love your confidence. The swag of Big T.
The best part of this too is I think the Bengals match up good with the. I think they can beat the Niners. So I actually hope both my teams win, and the Bengals might steal a Super Bowl way before they should. And they shouldn't be able to win it this year. They're not good enough to win it this year. But if they somehow get that matchup versus the Niners, they can beat them.
Yeah, and the other thing with Jimmy G is he is not someone who runs pure. It seems like to your point, Tony, the 1 or 2 mistakes he makes a game are always bite him in the ass.
And then, so we talked about all the negatives of last week. I'll say one where Jimmy G ran bad. He hit Kittle on that post pattern. Dude was butt naked, wide open for a touchdown, and he just flat out drops it on him. That was in the first quarter, too. And then the next play, he hits other dude. It wasn't going to be a touchdown, but it could have been like a 20-yard catch, too, and he drops it. So he does run bad for sure.
Yeah, he runs bad. He's in the NFC Championship game with a fucking 6 QBR rating or whatever.
He was in the Super Bowl 2 years ago too.
Yeah, he runs bad. The guy's fucking porn stars and has a 6 QBR rating, and he's in the NFC Championship. Boy, he runs so bad.
The record though without him is pretty bad. The last 3 or 4 years.
I hate when people use that though, because the dudes they've had besides Beathard the GOAT. They've had some just total donkeys back
Nick Mullins. Who was it? Nick Mullins, Beathard, and there might have been one other guy. I think it was mostly Nick Mullins and Beathard, though, for the most part, for those games. But there's a lot of talent on this 49er team, though, and they got a good system, good coach. All right. Any other props that we're looking at, guys? So I'll throw it to the panel. Tony, do you have any that are just sticking out to you that you love? ODB?
Yeah, I like over 18 and a half yards by Cam Akers receiving. I think that I did not like Cam in the Bucks game, and they got a very bad script for receptions, and he still managed. They still were throwing him the ball. He seems to be very involved in this team. Sony Michel's been phased out, and they like that swing pass to Akers. I think he gets some looks in the passing game, and I think 18 and a half, like he can get there a couple ways. He can get there on multiple catches, or he can just catch one in the flat and break it for 20. Like they can run a little screen pass on 3rd and 18, and he could get loose for 12 or 15. So I think that number is a little small for me. So that's the favorite prop I saw so far.
That's a winner. That's a winner for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Aaron Jones was heavily involved in the passing game. I know Tony was mad about the long reception, but even if you took the reception out, he still had 8 other receptions. So he was pretty good in the passing game. They used him a ton. He had 9 receptions, 129 yards. It's tough to run against the 49ers, but the running backs can be used for sure in the passing game, the way they play defense. So, and I'm sure a lot of attention is going to be drawn to Cooper Kupp, kind of like it was drawn to Devontae, where they just constantly had dudes over the top and guys in the middle following them, and just they had two. It felt like they had 2 guys draped on them the entire game, just constantly looked. They even confused Rodgers one time where he thought he had him one-on-one, and the safety went right over the top, and Rodgers held the ball and then got sacked because he thought he was going to be able to chuck it and then couldn't do it. And that's one of the many instances where he just got locked onto Devontae and didn't look anywhere else. So that's one of the things that bit him in the ass last week for sure. Tony, you see anything else from a props perspective?
I'm annoyed that there's no McKinnon props, because I was on him last week, and I think he ran pretty bad with how things went for him. He was clearly the number one. Yeah, they mixed CH in a little bit, but McKinnon was clearly the number one. I think he basically hit his floor of everything he could do last week, just the way everything went. I'm going to be waiting. Maybe there is, because I'm only looking at DK right this second. Is there props anywhere, Dunkel, for McKinnon that you know of?
I know he had props to score. It was like plus 140.
Yeah, I never liked those as much. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like multiple touchdowns.
On Pinnacle, he didn't have like a yardage number, because I was looking for that earlier. And I will say on Pinnacle, because that's just really where I go, because I think it's the fairest prices, so I always start there. That Jimmy Garoppolo interception prop, I mean, they juiced the fuck out of it, but they got minus 152 on the over and plus 114 on the under. So if you're laying juice on that, you should wait, because that's definitely moving on the underside. I can't see people piling in money on him not throwing an interception, like Dunkel said. That's a definite wait. That's a definite wait prop.
Tony, you gonna wait?
I'll have the reminder in the calendar to remind Tony.
I'm trying to find multiple. Where's the multiple touchdowns at? Oh, here it is, right here. I like to get, you guys give all the sharp ones. I give more of the like longer shot ones. I got one for you. I got to find the odds. To score 3 or more touchdowns, Elijah Mitchell, 35-1 at DK. I love that, 35-1.
3
and
touchdowns.
Another one, huh? No, 3 or more.
3 or more. Okay.
Is that the whole Niners team, or is that Mitchell?
Yeah, Mitchell's going to score 4. Remember that game a couple years ago where Mostert did it, where he had 4 in the playoff game? Well, that's going to be Mitchell this time. He's going to have 3 or 4. What's the 2?
I guess where you're going to be overweight on Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah. I mean, I don't love that game, but, yeah, I like him.
So, wait, do you think that they don't use Debo as much in the goal line?
I mean, I think they'll use him, but I think Mitchell might just bust him off.
Okay. So you see big runs. All right, look at that. Big T's not only calling 3 touchdowns for Mitchell, but he's calling for some long runs for touchdowns for Mitchell. He's not only calling for 3 touchdowns.
The Rams came through for me last week, and I'm getting right off of them.
Where are you going with this game, JSU? We've got Tony and Dunkel's opinion. Where are you?
Yeah. I already gave my opinion, but I'm going the 49ers. I think they're clearly the better team, and they're the dog here. So I think I think they should be favored. Like, I think they're just better than the Rams. I don't think the Rams pissed down their leg and almost let Tom Brady come back in after they should have won that game like 40-14. Like, that game, Tom Brady was terrible in that game, awful. And they let him come back in because Sean McVay was scared to throw the football, and he kept running the football up the fucking middle constantly, over and over, trying to bleed the clock, trying to keep Brady on the blah, blah, blah. They ran one play to the edges, and friggin' Van Jefferson got 15 yards. And I was like, oh, there you go, a little creativity. And then what did they do the next like 3 plays? Run down the middle. Like, McVay, you're such a donkey, and he'll do it again. I guarantee you. He seems like the sharpest guy until the game's on the line, and then he's going to fuck it all up, and that's what's going to happen here. 49ers are going to win the game. And, I'm going to pull Big T here. I don't need the points. Give me the 49ers outright. They're winning this shit.
Like that.
Love it.
There we go.
Oh, they got
All
the
right.
Niners up to 3.5 now. I thought it was 3 still. Wow.
Yeah, 3.5. 3.5.
Yeah,
I think if you want the Niners, I think you take it now. And if you want the Rams, I think you wait. But I could be wrong. I'm not.
You're right for sure. I mean, it's not gonna 3. If you like the Niners, definitely you got to take the 3.5.
It's not getting better than that, I don't think.
It doesn't really matter that much anymore, anyways. After it gets to 3.5.
So look, I'm just going to be the contrarian here, and I want to talk about these Rams before we put this game to bed. I know you all like the Niners, but this team completely bottled up Kyler Murray. They pretty much made Tom Brady as ineffective as possible. I know that you guys don't like Tom Brady in general, but
2 passing teams.
But the realistic side of it is that these 2 quarterbacks are pretty darn good quarterbacks. I mean, yeah, are they elite to you guys? Maybe not, but Kyler Murray and Tom Brady have both had a lot of success in this league, and the Rams just took them out early, and they got a lead. And I mean, the last 3 weeks, the Rams have gotten a 17-0 lead at half on the Niners. They I don't know what the score was, but they were blasting the Cards at half, and I think they were up 24-3 on the Bucs. I mean, this team has gotten off strong the last 3 weeks. I mean, is it possible that the Rams are just the best versions of themselves right now? I mean, I know that was kind of what I was fighting last week, that was the easy narrative, but I can't get away from the fact that this team, in all except for the second half against the Niners and the last quarter, which was really fueled by some ridiculous turnovers, that snap, the Cam Akers landing on his head. I mean, really, that
there was some crazy plays.
There was a lot of fortunate things that really happened to let the Bucs back in this game. I mean, the Rams have been pretty impressive for most of the last 6 halves of football that they've played, and I just don't know if there's a game script where the Niners are forced to come back, and I don't know. I'm not sure that they do it. I don't know. I'm starting to feel the Rams, and I know, I don't know. It doesn't feel good to go against you guys, so I don't know. But I just wanted to bring up like some contrarian thoughts.
I mean, they're definitely more talented. Like, without a doubt, they're more talented, and they're more. I mean, they're going to win next week. I think for sure if they win, they're going to win the Super Bowl. But I just don't think they match up good with the Niners. I love the Niners.
Obviously, that's
are the kryptonite, I think. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if they go up 17-0 again like the last time, I don't think the Niners will come back again. But I don't think they'll get up 17-0 again like last time.
Yeah, I mean, the key is going to be the 49ers, and they're so physical, their run game. They're going to be better, too, with the weather not being ridiculous like it was in Green Bay. That's going to help them, too. I know it might have hurt Green Bay as well a little bit, but definitely hurt them a little. They're going to be better in this scenario, I think. And, I mean, the physicality running the football is going to be the determination of if they win or lose, in my opinion. And I think they have the edge there. They've shown it in the 2 games, and I think they'll show it again.
I want to bring up one more thing, just because I want to really hone in, because like I said, I wasn't sure on this game. But like the Cowboys hadn't played a team as physical as the Niners in a long time. The Packers hadn't played a game as physical as the Niners. The Rams know what they're getting. They played this team 2 weeks ago. They know the physical toll that the Niners and the will that they're going to try to impose on the team. Having seen them a couple of weeks ago, does that maybe make them a little bit more prepared to handle the physicality that the Niners have? And really, that's the only way the Niners can win. I don't think they out-scheme the Rams. I don't think they out-talent them. I don't think they out-big play them. Really, the only path to victory for the Niners is to to a Niners win is to out-physical the Rams. So I don't know. Just like we brought up the Bengals, I'm not going to talk you guys out of it, but I'm just trying to think of this things from the Rams angles. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a valid concern or not, but
I think there's a few extra things in play here as well. First of all, the 49ers have won 4 straight road games. This is almost unheard of as it relates to the playoffs. This would be the 5th straight. This team's done a lot of traveling. So, weigh that how you'd like. But this game will very likely also be a very feel like a home game for San Francisco, right? I mean, even though it's in LA, it's likely going to be more San Fran fans. So ultimately, to me, there's a lot of things that lean San Fran's way. But talent-wise, look, you guys we're all kind of in agreement. The Rams are the better team player-wise. Can the 49ers just continue and Shanahan just continue to dominate McVay? I guess time will tell, but I've seen Jimmy G look better in these spots against the Rams. So we'll see how it plays out. But Rams have looked pristine recently for sure. But we've seen the 49ers knock off other teams that have looked pristine en route here. So not crazy either way.
The 49ers are just built for this. They're just built to beat teams that are better than them. It's their scheme. Shanahan, Shanahan's I know a lot of people hate on him because sometimes he blows different spots he probably shouldn't. But, man, as far as just scheming, dude is as good as anybody.
Yeah, and he knows they're all friends. So it probably works both ways a little, where both coaches know a lot about each other and have things, but it just feels like he has the edge when he goes into these matchups. That's just how it feels, how Shanahan makes it look too. So, I mean, and the 49ers defense has been insane. I know the Rams defense is good too, but the 49ers defense has been really good as well. To do what they did and keep their team in that game after the Packers go down the field right away and score a touchdown, that was really good. Even with the weather, I still think that was impressive to kind of hold down Aaron Rodgers and Devontae in that offense like they did. So you got to give them a little more credit here, and I think they'll keep the team in it again here, and they might not need to do it. Their offense might be ahead. If we think the game goes the way it goes, then they could be controlling the ball a lot more. So we'll see how it happens. Boys, anything else here on these 2 games, the weekend? Tony, what are you up to? What are you doing here in the hotel? I mean, talk to the people a little bit.
I'm going to finally ship one of these events. So it's going to be Sunday. Yeah, I'm going to stack the Bengals game. It's going to feel good.
Is it a 2-gamer, Tony?
Yeah, 2-gamer. So all the live finals usually are huge slates where you got to prepare and look at all this is only 2 games. We just talked about it. It's not that complicated, really. I mean, you just kind of go with your route, which is my strength, I think. Showdowns, 2-gamers, 3-gamers. It's more in my wheelhouse than the 10-gamers. So I feel good, especially with how good I feel about the Bengals game. I'm not going to play much from the San Fran game, so I like my chances. And if that first game shoots out,
what site are you there for?
DraftKings.
FanDuel or DraftKings? It's you won a thing, or what?
Yeah,
why are you there? What'd you win?
It's that thing for all the Millie Maker winners from last year, the Tournament of Champions.
So what's the value of the ticket? How many entries are in this tournament?
Only $20K or something. I think it's a $2 million prize pool, 100 people, million for first. And then the prize pool is not very good, though. Like, it's after first. So you're playing for first. You're trying to get up top. It's $2 million, though. They really go down far, though, after first. It's like 200K, 100K, 50K. It's almost like a normal bad Millie Maker structure, but it's just a free roll from winning a Millie Maker. So,
yeah, it's just like an add-on to the Millie Maker win. So,
and we get to play TPC Scottsdale on Saturday, which will be fun, where they're playing the Waste Management in 2 weeks. So, looking forward to that. It'll be a fun trip. Well, I think we might ship, too. Represent the print factory with a little W on Sunday.
Yeah, and Peter, if you want DFS plays, we'll have another show later in the week for the DFS plays. Probably the Wood Show on Sunday, I would assume. So Big T, Hoot, and Holden will talk some plays on Sunday. So we'll definitely have another DFS show, though. Either way, talking up the plays for Sunday's games. So don't worry about that. We'll get you covered. We'll have all the core plays, the playbook on the website. Everything like that, the Discord where you guys can, obviously chat with us, ask questions, all that stuff.
This dude in the chat is literally beating his cock off to Akers. Like, he's taught the whole day, Kevstry, it's going to be okay with Akers in the chat. We're on the same. He just keeps going, JSU. Just keeps going and going. He literally has his cock in his hand, talking about Akers in the chat the entire show.
Is he talking about how he fell on his head and fumbled the ball twice? Is that what he's talking about?
I don't think he saw the 2 fumbles that, oh, man, you guys, if you would have won that, I would have believed Brady had a deal with God if he won that game.
I would have believed Brady had a deal with God if he won that game. Like, I thought he did. I literally thought it was happening.
When they tied it up, I thought he was winning for sure. Like, 1,000,000%.
He wins that game. The next time Fauci comes on the screen, he's going to be like, hold on a second. Tom Brady's giving me information on the vaccine. let me give you guys some more information.
How great!
I would just listen to Tom for everything. I would just listen to him for every single thing in the world if he won that game. I wouldn't care what it was.
How great was Dunkel's Twitter bit with the Bills lost because they had the most unvaccinated players?
I'll tell you what, I go
strong.
I have another losing week in the NFL, another losing week in the NFL. I'm going right after the unvaccinated.
Conspiracy Dunkel added here. Conspiracy Dunkel.
I'm going right after
the God.
That is a passionate group of people. I'm going after it.
All right. Watch out, guys, because I don't know who is and who isn't in the chat, but you better watch out. Dunkel's coming for all of you. All right. You're just all lumped in a group together. So get ready. Uncle Dunkel's going to be firing on Twitter. So I can't wait for that. Dunkel, talk to the people a little about the bet side and what you guys got going on, all the free content you got, the Rump Your Bets YouTube channel where they drop free content daily for all different sports. You got all the premium picks, Keg's live show. Give them a little, tidbit into what you guys got going on.
Yeah, so just did a show tonight with my father, who's a character in his own right, talking about the games, a little bit of college basketball, a little bit of tennis as well. So he did talk on the games and what he liked and whatnot. Spread, of course, Tyler will have more NBA content. Tomorrow I'll likely have a college basketball show live on Saturday. I'll be the first one of the season. And of course, Keger's live show, right? He's been absolutely smashing. So it'd be nice to have him live for a few nights this weekend. And of course he'll be live, I'm sure, for both Sunday games. A lot of content as always. We'll have picks loaded up. I wrote up all the picks I've given up on here on the sheets. So looking forward to a fun-filled weekend.
You got all these winning props on there. You better.
Yeah, they're there.
Yep, I got them all written down. I could run them through real quick. Chris Jones to record a sack. McPherson over 6.5 points. CEH under 37.5 rushing yards. Jamar Chase longest reception over 28.5 yards. CJ Uzoma over 35.5 receiving yards. Stafford to throw a pick. Debo anytime touchdown. Cam Akers over 18.5 receiving yards. Kevstry, you're welcome. And Mitchell, 3+ touchdowns for Big T.
I made fun of the Akers dude stroking his cock, but that is the best one, I think. Over 18.5 yards is like stealing from ODB. Like 18.5 yards. Come on. That's too low.
That's an easy winner. Got to be an easy winner.
That's an easy winner. I like San Francisco, but that's an easy winner there.
You can
No
get
doubt.
both. You can get 19 yards from Cam Akers, and you can have,
It actually
the
goes pretty
Niners
good.
cover 3.5.
Exactly.
All right. So final predictions for the games, guys, real quick. Dunkel, who you got winning the 2 games?
Chiefs Niners.
Chiefs, Niners. ODB, who you got winning the 2 games?
I'm going to go Rams. And I'm not sure I totally believe that they're going to win, but I'm definitely going to take the touchdown with the Bengals. Game's a toss-up. So, I mean, if you're going to bet money line, I would probably bet Bengals because you're getting a much better price. But
Who do you think wins, though? Just who do you think wins? Forget about betting.
I don't
percent.
just pick who wins.
I know you don't. I know you don't.
I'm not
I know
gonna
you
give
don't. I'm
ammunition.
trying
I'm
to
not
give
giving
you a prediction.
I'm not giving you ammunition. All right,
God
I'm
damn
going
it. I want a friggin'
Bengals to win,
prediction.
Rams to win. Bengals,
How
Rams,
do you-
Super Bowl.
All right. Bengals, Rams, Super Bowl. Big T, who you got for the people?
Honestly, I mean, everyone knows who I'm picking, but honestly, part of me wants it to be Rams Bengals because I swear to you, I will have the biggest bet I've had in my life. The Rams will pound the Bengals if that's our Super Bowl. So we'll make all the money we want to make at that game. But I'm picking Bengals Niners.
Bengals, Niners for JSU as well. Let's ride. Let's run pure. And let's finish out this playoff strong. Guys, thank you for hanging out with us. Make sure you hit that like on your way out. If you didn't already, hit that subscribe button, the red box at the bottom right-hand corner. We'll be back in 2 weeks for the Super Bowl show. We're going to have a ton of shows for the Super Bowl. I'm sure we'll have a player prop show. We'll have this show. We got the Wednesday Pick and Winner show with Kegman going and Holden. And we'll have a ton of other Showdown content for you guys for the Super Bowl. So stay tuned for everything. We got you covered over at Run Pure Sports. If you're not a member, check it out. Become a member. Run Pure Bets with Uncle Dunkel. They're dropping winners every day in all the streets, from tennis, golf, MMA, NBA, you name it. They're dropping winners, so check those guys out. But for me, JSU, Big T, ODB, and Uncle Dunkel, thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Simon, get us out of here.